What is up, YouTube? It's Metro Game 75 here. Today we're playing My Yandere is a Futanari. Yeah, okay. This is another one of this. Alright, let's get started. Okay, this is something. Well, alright. Metro Game 75. Thank you. Your adventure starts here. Alright, we're just meeting some Yandere. It wasn't like the attention wasn't welcome, especially from an attractive woman like Lucy. Oh, her name is Lucy, huh? But it had quickly gone from something simple to something that seemed to a bit, well, strange. Like an escalation that I didn't know how to deal with. Wearing sexy things around the office, she always had her long red hair down and looked really hot. But quickly, my coworkers had basically told me that in terms of the hot, crazy matrix, she was a prime example of someone who was very hot and also very crazy. Obsession had bubbled over apparently with more than one ex-coworker, and when the poor guy had tried to go to HR about it, she even figured out a way to get him fired. God damn! Oh my god, dear Neptunes, this Yandere is crazy. I need my job. It was a good career path and it's paid the bills. It gave me something really nice on my resume. If I just kept my head down and was pleasant to get, hopefully Lucy would just find another target and move on. But that hadn't happened so far, and things were only getting worse as the weeks went by. It started with small little notes and gifts. The occasional coffee from the place I went to every morning. Although there was no way that she could have ever known my order because it was something pretty difficult. Unless, of course, she was following me. The first time she got my order exactly right was when my alarm bells started to go off. Paying attention or being nice about things that was fine at first, and then it all began to escalate. Notes and little things became gifts, and they got more and more bizarre as the weeks went on. One time, it was a small teddy bear, a poem that she wrote where the words were just as bizarre as her behavior. Then one day, I walk in and there was a pair of handcuffs on my desk with a heart attached to them. Oh boy, we're into something right now, guys. We are definitely into something. But the strangest one had to be the bottle of milk. What, she put her breast milk in... Oh. Now, Lucy was really well endowed and definitely had the assets that made the guys walk to poles. But when I smelled the milk, it just smelled a little bit, well, strange. Had a hard time believing that she had somehow managed to extract breast milk and leave it on my desk. Looks like we're drinking some of her milkers, huh? But there seemed to be no other explanation for what it was, and that was just a way too far to be real. Finally, I knew I had to report things to HR. As usual, though, HR was looking out for this company and not the employee. There was no witness or any proof that it was her leaving the weird things on my desk beyond the notes, and none of them had anything really bizarre enough to get her fired. It wasn't like they were threatening, and when I told them about her getting me coffee on the HR person, almost laughed. And because that certainly wasn't a crime, there was also the problem that she was not only smoking hot, but also really good at her job. At least when she wasn't stalking other employees, of course. So the higher-ups didn't really care what she did, and she had lots of time to do silly things around the office. And silly things always seemed to involve me somehow. When I was getting coffee, she would pop up, and when I was heading to the bathroom, she'd be waiting outside. What the fuck? What the hell? Always trying to start a conversation about bizarre things and whatever her version of flirting seems to be. The attention wasn't unwelcome until things began escalating to the point where I was worried about her mental health. First thing that triggered my fear was that the fact that another girl at the office I'd been flirting with suddenly called in sick for a few days. Later on, I found out she'd been in the hospital because of something she ate, and a diagnosis was food poisoning. Oh God. For some reason, It launched an alarming bells in my head because I knew that when Lucy had seen her and I chatted together, she got really upset. Bro, this is really like some Yandere similar shit right here. This is literally how Yandere would literally kill the other girls to get to Senpai. What the hell? And then less than a week later, the poor girl was out of commission. The second thing was that the notes and the letters started to take on a more ominous tone, almost threatening if you knew how to read between the lines, telling me about all the things that she might happen to me if I kept rejecting her, explicit details about things that other people were experiencing when they said no to her. I made a decision to never be alone with her in the office if I could avoid it because it gave me the creeps. Problem with that was my hours were different than some others because of my commute schedule, and sometimes there were very few people left in the office when it was time for me to leave. Uh-oh. Oh shit. It was Friday afternoon, and before I knew it, there was darkness coming through the windows. The final part of the project was almost ready to go, and all I wanted to do was get it finished. Some of my coworkers had walked by, but I hadn't seen Lucy leave yet. If she was still in the building, at least she was leaving me alone so I could get everything done and get the hell out of here. However, the idea that she was going to leave me alone was quickly shattered when I came back from the bathroom and found a small bottle at my desk. Like the others that had been left, there was a white fluid inside. Fuck. Picking it up, this one looks slightly different though. Like it was thicker and not like regular milk at all. My curiosity got the better of me and I opened the bottle. A quick sniff told me that there was an odd smell that definitely wasn't milk. It almost smelled like slightly sweet. Tipping the bottle, a little bit poured onto the surface of my desk. It was thick and strange looking. In fact, it looked like a little too much like... No, it couldn't be. Grabbing a pen, I stared around a bit and realized that it was entirely possible that there was a bottle of cum on my desk. What the fuck? What the fuck? Suddenly, I heard the voice that I had been hoping not to hear from behind me. I turned around and Lucy stood. Oh shit. What the hell? Well, her red dress was tight and her body was incredible, but her hands were behind her back. She may look pretty cute and thick, but in the inside, it's crazy as fuck, guys. And the look on her face was anything but friendly. It was somewhere between curious and crazy. And the fact that she possibly left a bottle of sperm on my desk told me she was authentically nuts. What was I going to do? Lucy, what the hell did you leave on my desk? Why did you... And what is it? She stepped forward and her hands still behind her back. Since she was taller than I was and I was sitting down, she loomed over me. Normally with a hot girl in a tight dress, I'd be asking for a lap dance or hoping that she'd sit down and let me kiss her. But alarm bells were going off in my head. And damn, she looked incredible, definitely on top right side of the hot, crazy matrix. Her dress clung to her large body like a glove, and of course I had a thing for a woman who worked out. Her eyes were like those a wild animal ready to pounce on its prey. Ah, hell no, I ain't taking no sip. Her eyes darted to the bottle and she stepped even closer. I had no idea what to do in the moment. Hesitation seemed to only make her react even worse. When she took her hands out from her back, I got a shock of my life. Oh shit! She was holding a long knife with a firm grip in one hand. My blood went cold and I tensed up. Her eyes narrowed and I knew that we were alone together and she was generally crazy.
I'm starting to get offended. I made that just for you. I thought about you the whole time while I was doing it.
What the hell?
Take a sip.
No!
Take a sip.
Fuck no. My mind was reeling. First of all, she confirmed that it was a bottle of cum. Next was she confirmed that she somehow made it. How the hell was that even possible? Was this from her vagina? And she thought about me during the act? Now I knew for sure she was crazy, and it had nothing to do with the knife she was pointing at me. She stepped closer, and the knife was suddenly much closer.
I thought about all the dirty things I want to do to you.
My body went tense again. It was way too close for comfort.
Come on, do it for me.
Now the knife was only inches from my neck. Even if I screamed, there was nobody around and nothing I could do. All I needed was to make her happy enough to let her guard down, and then maybe I could get the hell out of here. Avoiding the knife, of course. Lucy reached for her other hand around me and picked up the open bottle. My hand was shaking as she held it up to me, but I managed to somehow accept it. Slowly reaching out and taking the bottle from her, I noticed that it felt warm in my hand. It must have been fresh from the source. The idea that I might be drinking her bodily fluid made me feel even more uncomfortable, if that was even possible. But it was probably the only way to get rid of her and survive this encounter. Her eyes looked at me expectantly, and the knife didn't move as I lifted the bottle to my lips. Smelling the sour taste, it almost made me gulp down saliva before I even tasted the liquid inside. Taking a small sip, the taste surprisingly wasn't horrible, and when I swallowed, I could feel the thickness and taste on my tongue. Her face broke into a smile, but when I lowered the bottle, she frowned.
No, I want you to finish it.
I ain't finished shit.
Don't waste a drop.
Her voice became a singing song, and her eyes were expectant. Again, the knife hovered near my skin. Holding the bottle up to my lips, I began to drink, closing my eyes. All I had to do was get it over with, and maybe this crazy situation would be done, and I could get home. Then I make sure that the HR did something about this crazy woman on Monday. Trying to get it over with fast, I funneled the liquid into my mouth and swallowed quickly until the whole bottle was drained. Lowering and slowly and regretfully, oh God, I tried hard to smile and show her that it was all finished as she requested. The thick liquid was surprisingly sweet, and wasn't horrible actually. Her face broke into a wide smile, and she was obviously certifiable.
Yay! I'm so happy you liked it so much.
I kept hoping that the knife would disappear, but there wasn't any sight of that yet. What was I going to have to do in order to get away from her?
God, it was so hot watching you drink.
What the hell? What?
Have me inside you. Ah.
She sit down, hard onto her lower lips, almost drawing blood.
You know what? I think maybe you need some straight from the source.
Glancing down, I noticed something in her dress that completely caught me off guard. There was a bulge in front of it. Oh God. And that the fact that it was so tight showed me exactly where the cum came from her. There was a massive thick cock outlined across her hips. Lucy put the knife down, but she was still standing in front of me, and now that I'd seen her secret, I was frozen in place. This girl was dangerous enough with just a knife. Who knows what she's capable of with that thing? It was massive. When I noticed that it was also throbbing, I knew I was in serious trouble. Her hand went to the side of her dress as she unzipped it into the side. Again, normally it would have been a fantasy to see a sex woman unzip her dress in a deserted office, especially one as hot as Lucy, but there was an elephant in the room. Her dress slid down and her massive tits almost popped out, not contained at all by a bra. The large mouths were capped with perfect nipples that had hard points on the front of them. But what really took my breath away was what emerged down below. Her skin was flawless, and her dress fell down. A set of panties emerged. That was more like a strap. She quickly grabbed it and undid it, letting a massive hard cock pop out. What? Her words had an ominous tone. My clothes were basically shredded, but I quickly compiled and got dressed. There was no way of knowing what Monday might bring. But as Lucy took her big dick in and zipped up her dress, I couldn't help but be excited about all the surprises she had in store for me. The end. Well, that is the end of this video, everyone. So this was one hell of a ride, but yeah. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out my social media links down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.